There is absolutely zero doubt in my mind. Rachel Meghan Markle was a semi-expensive yacht girl, and she knows it.
Many of you have seen this picture already. You see that there's Meghan with her Cajuna hat.
When Sarah Ferguson opened her mouth this time, the royal world froze. What she said wasn't gossip, it was dynamite.
Everything happened because of Fergie.
A single phrase that sent shockwaves through Buckingham Palace, blindsided Prince Harry, and left Meghan Markle facing one of the most explosive rumors in royal history.
Meghan Markle was introduced by Sarah Ferguson to Prince Harry.
It all started quietly, a casual conversation, a familiar smirk from Fergie, until one reporter caught the words that changed everything. Meghan was Andrew's first client.
He said Miss Markle was a close companion to Prince Andrew.
Instantly, headlines erupted. Social media went feral. Within hours, the phrase Meghan's yacht days trended worldwide. But here's the part no one saw coming. This wasn't just a rumor from the shadows.
Meghan Markle was introduced through Marcus Anderson to Sarah Ferguson.
Sarah Ferguson, the Duchess who's been silenced, shunned, and resurrected more times than any royal in modern memory, was now hinting at something even darker, and she wasn't backing down. Behind closed doors, Harry was reportedly in shock. Palace aides panicked. The firm's iron wall of silence began to crack. What could Fergie possibly mean by first client? Why now? And what secret past could tie Meghan Markle, Hollywood actress turned Duchess, to Prince Andrew's infamous circles?
According to people, she got started her yachting days and she never stopped really. I don't think any of her boyfriends knew about it, but Meghan Markle was known as a hardcore yacht partying person, ready for anything.
This isn't just another royal scandal. This is a story that threatens to reopen the monarchy's deepest wounds. And as more voices step forward, one question looms over every whispered conversation in Windsor. Did Fergie accidentally tell the truth or deliberately light the match that could burn everything down? Because what happened next, no one was ready for.
She was a yacht girl. That's right. It's mentioned in the book. Meghan used to entertain as a yacht girl. Now, I'm not saying it's true. I'm not saying it happened, but I am saying Harry knows it.
It began like any other weekend in the royal circuit. Discreet charity luncheons, polite smiles, and endless rehearsed grace. But beneath the surface, something was brewing. Whispers of an unguarded moment from Sarah Ferguson had already reached a few insiders before the public ever caught wind. At first, no one believed it. After all, Fergie had weathered decades of tabloid storms. She knew how one careless word could ignite a fire. Yet this time, she didn't seem to care. During a private event in Mayfair, surrounded by a mix of old aristocrats and curious journalists, Fergie reportedly made a comment that landed like thunder. "People forget," she said with a knowing grin. Meghan's first royal connection wasn't Harry. The room fell silent. Someone laughed nervously, thinking it was a joke. It wasn't.
And I wonder if Prince Andrew's gonna come out and say, "Hey, Harry, I did your wife quite a few times on yachts before you got her."
Those words spread faster than champagne could be poured. Within hours, text messages buzzed through the corridors of the palace. The phrase Andrew's first client began appearing in gossip group chats, then in newsroom drafts, then across Twitter feeds. Harry, according to one insider, didn't want to believe it. He'd heard rumors before. Every royal had. But this was different. It came from inside the house, from someone who knew Andrew better than anyone alive. Suddenly, what could have been brushed off as idle chatter transformed into a full-blown credibility crisis. By midnight, royal correspondents were already piecing together timelines, linking Meghan's Hollywood past to Andrew's luxury yacht gatherings. Events long shrouded in controversy. The palace's PR machine scrambled, issuing quiet no comments while reporters sharpened their leads.
And we also have this. This is Karina Shuliak, Epstein's girlfriend.
And the only times she traveled and went anywhere was with him. And guess who's on the other end with her Panama hat?
Behind gilded doors, the question no one dared ask out loud simmered. Was Fergie exposing a secret the firm had buried or settling an old score? And if it was revenge, this was only the beginning. Long before the royal tiaras, global interviews, and Montecito mansions, Meghan Markle lived in a world defined by ambition, networking, and reinvention. Hollywood wasn't kind to newcomers, and Meghan knew that better than anyone. Between small acting roles, red carpet events, and charity galas, she built her image brick by brick, always smiling, always strategic. But behind that polished veneer was a hunger to rise, to escape the anonymity that devoured so many hopefuls in Los Angeles. Friends from her early career recall her charm and precision, how she could walk into a room full of producers and leave with everyone knowing her name. She moved effortlessly between social circles, blending with business moguls, celebrities, and even a few royal-adjacent personalities who frequented the same luxury events.
Jeffrey Epstein was also Harvey Weinstein, very prominent. There were members. Meghan Markle was just one of the working girls for Soho House. Call girl, working girl, escort, whatever you want to call it. That's what she was.
Among these gatherings were the elite yacht parties, lavish floating escapes where deals, introductions, and sometimes reputations were made. These weren't the seedy scenes tabloids like to paint, but they weren't innocent either. Connections forged there often came with whispers, favors, and unspoken debts. Rumors suggest Meghan attended a few such gatherings while building her brand, seeking exposure among the elite. There's no hard proof, only fragments of sightings, unnamed sources, and suggestive photos that resurfaced years later. But it's exactly this fog of half-truths that gave Fergie's words their sting. By linking Meghan's yacht days to Prince Andrew's world, Ferguson didn't just drop gossip, she rewrote Meghan's pre-royal timeline in the public's imagination. To the tabloids, it was irresistible. The actress who conquered Hollywood, then the palace, possibly connected to its most controversial figure. And whether true or not, the story had power, because perception, in the royal world, is often more dangerous than proof. And Fergie knew that perfectly well.
Prince Andrew, have you noticed how he completely avoids looking at Meghan Markle when she's around him or when she was around him?
To grasp the shock of Fergie's words, you have to step into the complicated shadow of Prince Andrew, a man once celebrated as a royal hero, now synonymous with scandal and disgrace. For years, Andrew moved through the world with unchecked privilege, basking in his title and his access to the elite. From lavish island vacations to exclusive yacht parties off the coast of the Mediterranean, he was the embodiment of royal excess. Those who knew him described a man addicted to luxury, obsessed with status, and surrounded by people who enabled both. But the illusion crumbled fast. His associations with powerful financiers and questionable figures turned his name into a toxic headline. The infamous friendship with Jeffrey Epstein, his disastrous interview that left the monarchy humiliated. Each moment carved deeper cracks into his once pristine image. By the time Fergie's alleged comments surfaced, the world already viewed Andrew as the royal family's weakest link, the one they couldn't defend without consequence. That's what made this connection to Meghan so explosive. Linking her to Andrew wasn't just a personal jab, it was a nuclear accusation. It tied the Duchess, already polarizing in the public eye, to the darkest chapter in modern royal history.
And here we have Andrew, with whom looks like Marcus Anderson. This is in 2001, when Meghan Markle would have allegedly been on third year. Meghan Markle hardly spent any time at Northwestern University.
The mere suggestion that she might have crossed paths with Andrew's inner circle years before marrying Harry gave tabloids enough fuel to run wild. For the firm, this was a nightmare scenario. Two of the monarchy's most controversial figures suddenly entangled in a single narrative. And while Andrew stayed silent, tucked away from public life, Fergie's words gave his shadow new life, stretching straight across Meghan's carefully built image. Because when Andrew's name enters the conversation, silence is no longer an option. When Sarah Ferguson speaks, the world usually listens out of curiosity. But this time, her words landed like a lightning strike across royal society. During what was supposed to be an off-record conversation at a discreet London soiree, Fergie reportedly leaned in and, with that mischievous glint she's famous for, dropped a sentence that froze the room. Let's just say Meghan was Andrew's first client. The tone was casual, almost playful, but everyone present felt the air shift. Those few words carried implications that could scorch reputations. Within hours, the alleged comment leaked. By the next morning, journalists were circling like hawks, dissecting every syllable. Did Fergie mean client as a jab, a metaphor for Meghan's calculated networking, or was she hinting at something literal, something darker hidden in Andrew's controversial past? The ambiguity only fueled the frenzy.
And I know what you're gonna say. Maybe it was just that one trip. No, there were quite a few trips. There's actually quite a lot of pictures about them. There are 2 pictures that leaked.
Fergie, for her part, neither confirmed nor denied the statement. Instead, she retreated into her usual mix of denial and charm, giving subtle smiles when questioned by reporters, the kind of expression that says everything while revealing nothing. Palace insiders, however, were reportedly livid. Communications teams rushed to distance senior royals from the fallout, while whispers spread that Fergie had gone off script again. But behind the outrage, a quieter truth lingered. She knew exactly what she was doing. Ferguson's entire public life has thrived on walking the tightrope between confession and chaos. This bombshell wasn't a slip, it was a calculated spark. By aligning Meghan's name with Andrew's infamy, Fergie didn't just stir old gossip, she reshaped the royal narrative entirely. Suddenly, Meghan's silence looked suspicious. Harry's anger seemed justified, and the world waited for a response that never came. And just when the storm began to settle, another question emerged. Why now? Every royal revelation comes with a motive, and Sarah Ferguson's bombshell was no exception. To understand why she might drop such a loaded statement, you have to trace her complicated dance with the monarchy, a story marked by exile, redemption, and endless reinvention. Fergie has never been a stranger to scandal. From her infamous toe-sucking headlines to her financial controversies and public apologies, she has lived through the full cycle of disgrace and survival. Each time the royal family pushed her out, she clawed her way back into relevance. Smiling, gracious, but but always calculating. So why mention Meghan now?
It could be also happening that the royal family is saying, hey, if you put a book out about Meghan Markle and completely destroy everything and really tell the people how Meghan met Harry.
Some insiders believe it's revenge, subtle payback for years of being treated as an outsider by the same institution that later embraced Meghan. Others see it as Fergie reclaiming her power, reasserting herself in a narrative that has long sidelined her. There's also the possibility that she's playing the media game she knows so well, stirring controlled chaos to boost her own visibility at a time when royal attention is shifting elsewhere. It's equally possible that Ferguson thought she was defending Andrew, attempting to divert scrutiny from his name by creating a new distraction. Whatever her reasoning, one fact is clear: Fergie understands timing better than anyone. She's survived decades of public humiliation by mastering the art of selective truth-telling, giving the press just enough to feed on while keeping herself indispensable. This moment might be her boldest gamble yet. In one sentence, she managed to redirect global attention, reopen royal wounds, and insert herself back into the headlines she once ruled. Whether it's strategy or desperation, Fergie has once again proven her talent for chaos. And the real question is, what did she expect to gain from setting this fire? The morning after Fergie's alleged comment hit the tabloids, Buckingham Palace was in quiet crisis mode. No official statement, no press briefing, just a wall of silence thicker than the palace gates themselves. Behind that calm exterior, however, chaos reigned. Advisors shuffled between emergency meetings, phones buzzed nonstop, and senior courtiers debated how to contain a story that had already spiraled far beyond control. Every branch of the royal family suddenly found itself under scrutiny, and no one wanted to be the first to react.
She'd been a Deal or No Deal girl. She was calling herself a model, and she was starring in a show Suits. She used to charge almost $30,000 per trip, which is why she was making good money. It wasn't on Suits, it was on her yachting trips.
Prince Harry, according to a source close to his circle, was furious but conflicted. The rumor had humiliated him publicly, yet he knew that any outburst would only make things worse. Meghan reportedly withdrew, avoiding cameras and postponing public appearances. Her team worked overtime, quietly reviewing potential legal responses, while the couple's detractors celebrated the chaos online. The tension inside the Sussex camp was palpable, not just because of the accusation, but because of who it came from. Fergie wasn't an anonymous critic. She was family. Meanwhile, senior royals distanced themselves, pretending neutrality while monitoring every headline. Behind the scenes, damage control became an art form. Advisors coordinated with media outlets, trying to steer focus back to charitable events and official duties. But the story refused to die. The phrase Andrew's first client lingered in headlines like smoke that wouldn't clear.
Harry also knows Meghan was on Jeffrey Epstein's yacht with Prince Andrew.
In private corridors, resentment brewed. Some accused Fergie of betrayal, others whispered she might have been set up. What united them all was fear. Fear that another royal scandal, this time involving Meghan, could reopen the wounds left by Andrew's downfall. The monarchy thrives on control, but this time control was slipping. And just when they thought they'd seen the worst, the silence from Meghan began to speak volumes. By dawn, the royal machine was running on panic and protocol. Aides rushed into meetings with tight faces, carrying folders labeled urgent, while pretending everything was under control. The firm's golden rule, never explain, never complain, suddenly felt fragile. Sarah Ferguson's remark had detonated across the media landscape, and now the royal family's reputation was back under siege. Inside private offices, damage control unfolded with military precision. Advisors drafted no-comment responses while senior royals debated whether to distance themselves publicly or let the story burn out. But the problem was bigger than optics. It was trust.
This woman knows that she's in trouble with Fergie because she knows where Meghan Markle's bodies are buried. She knows that Meghan Markle has been yachting. In fact, they had friction because Meghan had originally set her sights on Prince Andrew, but she lucked out with the idiot Harry. Not in a million years did Meghan think that she was going to score Prince Harry. She thought she was going to score Andrew until Fergie put a stop to it.
Fergie's comment didn't come from an outsider. It came from within their own circle. That betrayal hit harder than any tabloid headline. Harry, sources whispered, was deeply unsettled. He didn't know whether to confront Fergie directly or let the lawyers handle it. Meghan stayed out of sight, her silence amplifying speculation. Even palace staff noticed the tension. Doors closed faster, voices lowered, smiles rehearsed. Every word risked becoming tomorrow's headline. Meanwhile, courtiers tried to pivot attention toward royal duties, but the public wasn't buying it. The story had grown teeth. Every press appearance, every photo op carried the weight of unanswered questions. Behind polished smiles, the royals were holding their breath, praying the scandal would pass like so many before it. But this time felt different. The threat wasn't coming from the outside world, it was blooming from within their own bloodline. As the dust begins to settle, if it ever truly can, one truth remains clear. This story has changed the royal landscape forever. What began as an offhand remark from Sarah Ferguson has evolved into a full-blown crisis of loyalty, image, and power.
In my opinion, in my analysis, and my experience of decades, this kind of analysis, for me, is the real deal. If a photo such as this of Meghan Markle with Prince Andrew years ago surfaces, that will be quite an scandal.
Meghan's silence still looms like a storm cloud. Harry's trust feels shaken, and the royal institution once again finds itself fighting ghosts it thought were buried for good. But perhaps that's the pattern of this family. Every time they try to control the narrative, another secret finds its way to the surface. The question now isn't whether Fergie went too far, but what else she might be hiding. Because if this is what she'll say in public, imagine what's still being whispered behind palace walls. And if you thought this story was shocking, wait until you see how deep the next one goes. In our previous video, Prince Andrew and Fergie left stunned after King Charles exposes this. We uncovered how the king's calculated move blindsided Andrew and sent royal loyalty spinning out of control. If you missed it, make sure to watch that next. It ties perfectly into this tangled royal web. This is Star Spotlight, where the truth glimmers even in the shadows. Stay curious, stay bold, and remember, in the world of royalty, nothing is ever truly private. Watch our last episode now, before the next royal shock hits.